Greetings and salutations! In this video we're going to take a look at Ubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish. First we're going to talk about the new features and what is different in the 18.10 release. We'll take a quick look around and I will give you my thoughts on what I have discovered so far, having played with it for a little while in a virtual machine, and we'll discuss whether or not you may want to actually upgrade to this release. So, first of all, let's take a look at this lovely It's Foss article. This will be up until the release date, I'm assuming, so if you see this video afterwards, this might not be available to you. I don't know how long the link will be there, but I will put it in the description anyway. This is a really nice thing that they do where each one of these releases, they have this running updated article, which is very cool. And they say the upcoming Ubuntu 18.10 has been codenamed Cosmic Cuttlefish. The development for the Ubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish started just a week after the Ubuntu 18.04, the long-term support release came out, and that was back in April. And let's scroll down here. We get some more information. Since Ubuntu code names are an incremental alphabetical order, we now have Cosmic Cuttlefish after Ubuntu 18.04 Bionic Beaver. If you know the trivia behind code names, you already know that code names are comprised of an adjective and an animal, both starting with the same letter. October releases of Ubuntu follow that's what it says, a 25-week release cycle. This way, Ubuntu 18.10 will be released on the 18th of October, so we have a little ways to go. 18.10 is a short-term release and will be supported for 9 months from its release. That will be until July of 2019. So if you are new to Linux, new to Ubuntu, basically they put out a new version every 6 months. And the numbering is the year and the month. So we have 18.04 as the current release, and then we will move to 18.10. Every 2 years, we get a long-term support release, and that is usually in even years. So the long-term support releases that are currently still supported are Ubuntu 14.04, and we have 16.04, 18.04. They are all still supported, and they have support for 5 years, although it was just announced that Ubuntu 14.04 will get extended support for enterprise users who want to pay for that support. So even after that cycle, if you absolutely need to keep Ubuntu going, what Canonical has been doing, that's the company that is providing Ubuntu and supporting it and offering services around it, they are actually doing extended support on some of the older long-term support releases, which is, I think, very cool. So, new features in Ubuntu 18.10. It's in the final stages now, and they say they have a clear picture of what new features will be added in the 18.10 release. This is what the wallpaper looks like. We got GNOME 3.30. That was released on September the 18th. And that will have this most recent GNOME version there. The new default theme and icons. This is actually pretty cool. They call it Yaru. We'll take a look at that in just a few moments. Here's a screenshot of what it looks like. I'm kind of, I don't know, it's cool. it's okay with me. I'm still would run another theme. Battery life for laptops. It's a possibility that this will be improved. Taking a cue from Fedora 28, Canonical, Ubuntu's parent company, is also working to improve battery life for laptops. Linux kernel has options to switch hard drive controllers, USB controllers, and other such devices to a low power state when not in use. So hopefully that will land, because that's one of the questions that I get all the time from people is like, hey, I just installed Linux on this laptop and I get really crappy battery life. And there's a lot of little tweaks that you can do, and there's some programs that you can install on Ubuntu that will make that go a little bit quicker, or rather last a little bit longer. You don't really want your battery to go a little bit quicker, I understand. But honestly, battery life is an issue, and hopefully this is something that they're going to dive into. If battery life is a real big concern for you, then I always tell people, hey, go for Ubuntu with the Mate desktop, the Ubuntu Mate flavor, because Martin Wimpress does a lot of work. He's the head developer with that particular distribution to make sure that it runs well on laptops, and that's one of the things that's near and dear to his heart is battery life, so you may get a little better support. So we're going to get support for fingerprint scanners finally after all of these years. If that's important to you, that might be something that is useful. Startup time boost for XDG portals and XDG portals for Snap applications. I don't know whether the startup time is any faster than the current release, so it always kind of comes and goes, you know. Every other release of Ubuntu, they say, oh, we're going to speed up the startup, and then the next release comes along and it's slower. It kind of goes back and forth. It's like a yo-yo. And then there's the support. Snap applications will take less time to start. With the XDG portal, you should be able to install Snap in a few clicks from the Snapcraft store website. That's cool. We're getting Linux kernel 4.18. 32-bit support is diminishing from flavors. So we had this last go-around for 18.04. The main version of Ubuntu with the GNOME desktop, the vanilla mainline version, did not come in 32-bit. But a lot of the flavors went ahead and released a 32-bit version of Ubuntu. Mate is one of those. Kubuntu they did that, but they're not going to have a 32-bit release in 18.10. So looks like 18.04 is going to be the last go-around for 32-bit support in Ubuntu proper. And it's just time, folks. The hardware has moved on. Faster installation and boot with a new compression algorithm. I didn't notice anything different. Miscellaneous other changes in Ubuntu 18.10. UI and UX improvements in GNOME software. That's a possibility. Let's see what else. Support for smart TVs. Ubuntu software will remove dependencies while uninstalling software. Well, that's nice. Thank you. It should have been doing that anyway. Ubuntu software will show a green verified tick for Snap applications developed by the owner of the brand. The same can be found on the recently redesigned Snap Store website. No Android integration yet, so you can't just do that wirelessly. That would be really, really nice. I know that with KDE Plasma, you have KDE Connect, and you can do that if you have the Plasma desktop. I have not personally tested that. I don't really mess around with syncing Androids to computers. I just don't do it, so I don't have a lot of experience with doing that. But I think now what it involves is you put the phone in, you turn on media mode in the phone, and then you plug it in like a drive, and you can just go get your stuff. But anyway, it's not ready for Ubuntu 18.10 though. That's what they're saying. And then they talk about here where you can download the beta release. There will be a link to this in the description for the video. I like to take my time and go through that. Well, this is what it looks like once you get it installed, ladies and gentlemen. I've done a little tiny bit of tweaking to this. I have increased font sizes. I haven't done anything with the theme. I have added my little avatar picture there, and that's about it. So we'll take a look at the actual system running in a virtual machine. It installed quite well from the daily build image, which is what I got, and then I ran updates to make sure that it was 100% up to date. I did try and manually install the virtual box guest editions, and it would not boot after I did that. So the guest editions are already installed, as it said, or at least part of it is. You've got the drivers for that, but I couldn't really make the whole package work. It's okay. It works well enough for what I want to do anyway. I mean, you definitely get 3D support. So this is what it looks like out of the box. This is what this Yaru looks like. It installs pretty much just exactly like Ubuntu 18.04. No major changes there. This is the layout that you get. You get Firefox for your web browser. You will get Thunderbird for an email client, which is good because I use Thunderbird and can't live without it, actually. That's one I absolutely have to have. And we have these lovely new icons set. We've got the new files here. You notice that we have an active desktop because we've got the trash can on the desktop, so that means that Ubuntu is continuing. to buck the trend in GNOME. GNOME came out with a new version of this files program, which is known as Nautilus, that no longer supported that. And so, therefore, they are continuing to do that. Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can do an about, and we'll find out exactly what version of Nautilus we have. Yep, we're still on version 3.2.6. Of course, now this is the beta version. There may be a last-minute change, but I doubt it. Usually by the time they get to beta, now we're just in the mode where we're making sure everything works. So there you go. What exact kernel do we have? Let me open up a terminal here. We have 418.0-8 generic is the kernel that is shipped with this. Other than that, it looks and acts pretty much like Ubuntu 18.04. I really don't see that much of a difference, other than they do have a pretty nice theme here, which is called Yaru. If you want to change that, then you would have to install the GNOME tweaks, or just tweaks these days. We got new software available, so we can take a look at that. So now we are getting the notification through the software application and not just the little updater program. It says requires restart. Why do I have to restart first? That doesn't make any sense. I'm confused. It's a restart and update. Well, let's do it and see what it does. I've never seen this message. Do I restart first? Why not? This makes for a fun video when you see something like that pop up. While it's doing that, I will tell you that what I have done with this thus far is to take my install script from Ubuntu 18.04. I did a video about that not too long ago. That is a single script that I can run in Bash that installs all the software that I need for the system, all the basic software that I need, and everything installed. Even TimeShift from the PPA, it installed with absolutely no problems whatsoever. I am very pleased to report that the Ubuntu that they have dropped that lovely, horrible Fluendo MP3 package that I have complained about since Ubuntu 14.04. Those of you who have followed my videos will know what I'm talking about. That is no longer in here, so they did not ship that at all in Ubuntu 18.10. But all of the software that I'm using for Ubuntu 18.04 worked perfectly fine in Ubuntu 18.10. I could right now reinstall on my main system and I would never know the difference. So this thing said that I had to restart and update, which makes me really curious about something here. So let's go in and take a look and look for the updater. Well, let's see. I do still have this software updater. There it is. It's going to go out and check. But that's not what we got when we clicked on that. What we got was Ubuntu software that was telling us that. So I have an installation video up that talks about what to do when you install Ubuntu 18.04 and the steps that you can take to be able to customize the system and that sort of thing. And this would definitely still apply to 18.10. There's no difference. If you actually want to run this and you want to set it up, then if you've run 18.04, then you wouldn't have any problems. And I'm sure that there will be an upgrade path where you just have the update look for the Ubuntu next Ubuntu release. You probably do an in-place update. That should be available once this is officially released. And let's see what this thing's doing. I think it's going to install the kernel. I just don't understand why I got the message that I had to restart. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know. That was a little bit strange. But I followed the bouncing ball, and there it was. So once this gets through doing this, since I'm just doing this to show you guys what it's doing, I guess. That we're just running updates real quick. Looks like we're going to get an updated kernel in this particular one, which will require another restart. Of course, at install, you can also set this up to have automatic updates so that you never have to actually deal with this at all. It'll do it all in the background. I have not done that with Ubuntu 18.04, so I don't know how that works. I know maybe some of you guys out there have done that, and you can put your experiences in the comments, I guess. I've never done that. I'd rather have manual control over my updates. Right now, it is set up, or maybe not. I'd probably change this because usually I do. But when you first install, it sets itself up to automatically download and install security updates. I usually turn that off and have the system to, just inform me immediately when they are there. So this is taking its time to do this in a virtual machine. I guess one of the things that we can talk about real quick here is, because I always get this question, well, they've come out with a new version. Should I just go ahead and update? No. If you are happy with Ubuntu 16.04, hey, if you are happy with 16.04, that's good for what, until 2021? You stick with it. If you are happy with Ubuntu 18.04, which we just installed, that was the new long-term support released, that's going to be supported until 2023. So unless there's some kind of major reason why you need to move to this version, like you need to get onto that 4.18 kernel, or there's, you just really love this new Yaru theme that they're shipping and you absolutely got to have it, then you go ahead and do that. Or there's some software. I mean, I have no clue what your reasoning would be. But if you're relatively happy with what you're running now, then there's no reason to do that. As a matter of fact, anything new that they come up with in these interim releases will be pretty much backported into Ubuntu 18.04, at least until Ubuntu 20.04 comes out, which will be the next long-term support release. So there's really no reason to uproot your whole system to change this. These interim releases for Ubuntu that are not long-term support, they're usually just test beds. And so you can think of it that way. But that's a question that I always get asked. So let's log back in here. I want to show you one more thing. We'll take a look at the themes that are shipped here. I think we're going to have to install the tweak tool, which is just called tweaks. And instead of, usually I would jump into a terminal and install that, but I'm not going to do it this time. I'm going to do it from the software application. So we can take a look at how that looks. So this is what it looks like, and it's getting itself together. And we'll search for our software. That's what we want right there. GNOME tweaks. Let's install the package. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. We had a lovely tropical storm, Michael, go right over top of us last night. Of course, that's the same storm that you may have heard has done so much damage in Florida and down in Georgia. It knocked some sticks out of the trees, and there was a lot of power outages this morning in my area, but fortunately no major damage to us, so that's good to know. And if I click launch here, this should start this application, and this is an application that you must have if you want to change your theme in the GNOME desktop. See, here's where we can choose whether we have an active desktop or not, show the icons and what icons would be shown. So as a for instance here, I don't really need to see the trash icon. And I don't think you need to have the home icon up here either, simply because of the fact that that's where you go when you click on files. But you can do with it whatever you please. You can turn it off if you like. So the main thing that I wanted to look in here was the appearance, so we can look at the different themes. Now, when I was installing Ubuntu 18.04 for Qt support, I have when I was talking about that, you have to install a package called Qt5 style plugins, and then there's a change that you make to the environment to make that work so that Qt applications will follow GTK2. I don't think Yaru is GTK2 compatible because it didn't seem to work. It might work if you played with it some more. I don't know. Most people don't care about this. This is real nitpicking. The particular theme that I like is this Adwaita Dark, which comes from the GNOME project, and then I like the DMZ white for the cursor. And then as far as our icons are concerned in here, that's the sound theme. Yes, there's a new sound theme. They've replaced that horrible doink noise that you get when, like in the terminal, when it rings the terminal bell. It goes doink. It's now a nice little chime. It goes ding. So that's in there. I can't demonstrate that in the video, but I'm just telling you. So we have, this is the icons that come installed. You can have the Adwaita, which is basically the default GNOME icons, and you've got the Humanity package, which has been around forever if you want to put that in, and the new Yaru icons, which are okay. I'm not a big, huge fan of square icons. I like the GNOME icons. There's an icon set called GNOME Colors Common. I wonder if it's available here. Let's take a look. Now, for that one, I am going to open up a terminal because that way I can just go and get it real quick. Let's see. So the name of the package, sudo apt install GNOME Colors. Let's see if it's here. Oh, it is here. Wonderful. So I can go ahead and install these icons. We'll take a look at that. See if they still work. It might be they in the repositories, and I can't install them too. You can't actually switch to those icons, but those are the ones that I like the best. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm running here on Ubuntu, or I might be just using standard GNOME or the Ubuntu icons. I really don't know off the top of my head at this point. I automated all that a while back, and now I can't remember what I've got it set to do. But I just want to see if this is available. I like to know if there's an option. So let's go back into tweaks again. And we're going to go to appearance and go to icons. Where are the icons? Yep, right there. Yeah, this is a very cool icon set. No, actually I am not running that. I'm running the default Ubuntu icons that came with ambience, but this is an icon set that I like. I just wanted to see if it was actually available. I'm not running those over here in 1804. So that's about it, gang. I mean, there's not much more to tell. This is just kind of a 6-month progression from what 1804 looked like when it first came out. It seems to be very stable. It seems to be very solid. I will not be doing any more testing on this on hardware or anything like that. There's no huge differences here, which is a good thing. Somebody said not too long ago, I think it was Matt Hartley did a video, and he was talking about, well, I'm not going to look at Ubuntu 18.04 because Ubuntu is boring. Boring is good. Boring is real good because a lot of new users are coming to Ubuntu. This is really where, especially people in enterprise situations, a lot of enterprise companies around the world are doing more Ubuntu, and so people are starting to get exposed to it, and this is what they're seeing, whether it's 1804, 1810, and this is the nice, they have a very nice rendition of the Ubuntu or the GNOME desktop that they're doing, and they're keeping some standard features alive, like having an active desktop. A lot of people like that, and of course the GNOME project just announced that in like GNOME 3.3.2 they're going to get rid of this. They're going to dump yet another feature is going to be removed, which is this little menu thing that pops up here and gives you this little menu for the active upfront application. And I was just listening to all the chatter about that, and everybody said, well, if you're going to get rid of that, why don't you put in a global menu? Just take this menu and move it up there. I'm down with that. I think that would be totally cool. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to work on a global menu. They're just going to get rid of this little tab up here that you can click on that will bring the menu down in some applications, and in others it won't. Whatever, guys. That's what you want to do. Go right ahead. So, yeah, this is very nice the way they are. They have a really nice user interface, very well thought out, very, it's very different from if you sat down in front of like an old Windows machine, if that's what you're used to. So there's a bit of a learning curve if you're new to it, but they're using the same research that they used when they were doing Unity. So it's the same sort of thing with the sidebar over here. This is not a far cry from the Unity desktop. And the Unity desktop was very well researched. And I think that, a lot of people, once they get used to it, like this better. I do. So there you go. I mean, not to say that I don't like Cinnamon and other desktops, gang. I'm not discriminating. You use whatever desktop works best for you. I found that GNOME with a sidebar like this, which is what Ubuntu provides, really works for my workflow. I just like it. And the other thing is that Ubuntu 18.04 has been the most stable Linux distribution that I have ever run. So if it's boring and stable, I'm good with it, Matt. That's no problem. I'm totally good with it being boring and stable. I think it'll be fine. So there you go. A quick look. Do you need to upgrade if you're on Ubuntu 18.04 and happy? No. Even if you're on Ubuntu 16.04 and you're fine? No, you don't really need to move. But it's kind of cool to see which direction that they're going in. So, there you go. Ubuntu 18.10. Cosmic Cuttlefish. Coming out very soon. As always, your feedback is welcome. Thank you, by the way, for all of the very nice things that people said on the last video that I posted where I was talking about reaching 60,000 subscribers on that channel. On this channel. That's awesome, gang. That's wonderful. Had a whole bunch of really nice things that people said about that. So thank you very much, and thank you for being around. You need to join the discussion at Easy Talk. And it's free, secure, and it's fun as well. Please be sure to give Easy Linux a like on Facebook if you are a Facebook user. Like last night, I was up in the middle of the night, and I posted a screenshot of what I was working on, listening to the storm blow by and testing Ubuntu 18.10. That's what I was doing, waiting for the power to go out at any second. I was like, let's see how far we can get before the power goes out. It didn't, so we kept it the whole time, which is really good. Not even a glitch, man, nothing. So that's pretty awesome. So that got posted on Facebook, so some stuff ends up there. Check out freedompenguin.com for more about Linux. Freedom Penguin is run by Matt Hartley, and he accepts contributions, videos, and articles, and all kinds of stuff from contributors like me. So you can check that out. And we're done. We'll do it again soon. Thank you for watching.